There are moments in life when everything becomes quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the kind that makes you realize how much someone means to you. The kind of quiet that happens when you sit alone and your thoughts slowly start telling the truth you tried to ignore. And sometimes that truth is simple. You don't want to lose someone. Not because you are afraid of being alone, but because life feels different when they are gone. You notice it in the smallest things. The silence feels heavier, the days feel longer, even laughter sounds different. Because some people don't just enter your life, they become part of how you breathe. And when you care about someone deeply, you begin to understand something important. Love isn't loud. It's not fireworks every day. It's not perfect words. It's not the fantasy people show on screens. Real love is quieter than that. It's showing up even when things are difficult. It's staying when leaving would be easier. It's choosing someone again even after seeing their flaws. And if you've ever loved someone honestly, you know something else too. Love can be fragile. Not weak, but fragile, like something valuable. It needs patience. It needs understanding. And sometimes it needs courage. Because the truth is, the people we love the most are also the people we can hurt the most. Not always intentionally. Sometimes through misunderstanding. Sometimes through pride, sometimes through silence. And sometimes we only realize how much someone matters when the distance between us begins to grow. That's a painful moment. Because suddenly you understand something clearly. This person is not replaceable. They're not just another chapter in your life. They are part of your story. And when you reach that realization, something inside you changes. Your ego becomes smaller. Your pride becomes quieter. And your heart begins to say something simple. I don't want to lose you. Not because you need them to complete you, but because life feels more meaningful with them beside you. Love is not about possession. It's about presence. It's about knowing that in a world where everything changes, you found someone worth holding on to. And if you're listening to this right now, maybe you know exactly what I mean. Maybe there is someone in your life, someone you've laughed with, struggled with, grown with, someone who has seen parts of you that nobody else has. And maybe things haven't been perfect. Maybe there have been arguments, misunderstandings, moments where words were said that shouldn't have been said. That's part of being human. But love doesn't disappear because of imperfect moments. If anything, real love reveals itself during those moments. Because love is not proven when everything is easy. Love is proven when things become difficult and two people still decide to stay. And that's the heart of this message. Not dramatic promises, not poetic illusions. Just a simple truth from the heart. If someone matters to you, if they bring meaning into your life, if they've stood beside you through storms, then don't let pride destroy what patience could heal. Because good people are rare, real love is rare. And sometimes the strongest words a person can say are also the simplest. I don't want to lose you, not as a plea, but as a promise to try harder, to understand better, to grow together. Because love isn't about finding perfection. It's about protecting something meaningful. And when two people decide to protect that connection, something powerful happens. They stop fighting each other and start fighting for each other. The truth about love is something people usually learn slowly. Not from movies, not from perfect stories, and not from the beautiful promises people make when everything feels new and exciting. The truth about love usually reveals itself through ordinary days, through mistakes, through forgiveness, through moments when things are difficult and two people have to decide whether they are willing to grow together or drift apart. When people first fall in love, everything feels effortless. You talk for hours, you laugh easily, you notice every small detail about the other person. Their smile feels brighter than anything else in your day. Their presence makes life feel lighter. In those early moments, love feels like something that just happens naturally. And in a way it does. Attraction is easy. Connection can be spontaneous. But real love, the kind that lasts years, the kind that survives storms, the kind that becomes part of your identity, that kind of love requires something deeper than emotion. It requires commitment, and commitment is a word that many people misunderstand. They think commitment means obligation or sacrifice or losing freedom. But real commitment is something much more meaningful than that. Commitment means deciding that a person matters enough to you, that you are willing to work through life together, even when life becomes complicated. It means understanding that love is not just a feeling that appears and disappears depending on your mood. It is a decision that you continue making every day. Some days that decision feels easy. Other days it requires patience, humility, and emotional strength. Because two people can care deeply about each other and still hurt one another without meaning to. Two people can have good intentions and still misunderstand each other. This is part of being human. We are all imperfect. We all carry past experiences, fears, insecurities, and habits that influence how we behave in relationships. Sometimes we react defensively. Sometimes we say things that come from pain rather than truth. Sometimes we build walls when what we really need is understanding. And this is where commitment becomes powerful. Commitment reminds you that the person standing in front of you is not your enemy. They are your partner. They are someone who is also learning, also growing, also trying to understand how to love and be loved. When two people truly commit to each other, something important shifts in the relationship. The goal stops being winning arguments. The goal becomes protecting the connection. Instead of asking, how can I prove that I'm right? You start asking, how can we understand each other better? That change might sound small, but it transforms everything. Because most relationships do not fail due to lack of love. They fail because people stop listening. They stop being patient. They allow pride to grow louder than empathy. Pride is one of the quiet destroyers of love. Pride convinces you that apologizing makes you weak. Pride tells you that you shouldn't be the first one to reach out after an argument. Pride whispers that if the other person truly cared, they would fix everything themselves. But pride doesn't build relationships. Pride builds distance. And distance, if it grows too large, eventually becomes silence. Commitment, on the other hand, requires humility. It requires the ability to pause and recognize that love is not about being perfect. It's about being willing to learn from your mistakes. It's about acknowledging when you've hurt someone and choosing to repair that damage rather than ignore it. Real love often looks very different from the fantasy people imagine. Sometimes it looks like two people sitting quietly after an argument, trying to understand each other again. Sometimes it looks like patience during stressful times when life feels overwhelming. Sometimes it looks like forgiveness when someone makes a mistake, but shows genuine effort to change. And sometimes it looks like simply staying beside someone when they are struggling, even when there are no perfect words to fix their pain. Commitment means understanding that love evolves. The love you feel at the beginning of a relationship is full of excitement and discovery. But as time passes, love becomes something deeper. It becomes trust. It becomes safety. It becomes the quiet comfort of knowing that someone sees you clearly, including your flaws, and still chooses to stand beside you. That kind of love is rare. Not because it is impossible, but because it requires emotional maturity. It requires two people who are willing to grow, who are willing to communicate honestly, who are willing to respect each other even during disagreements. Respect is the foundation of commitment. Without respect, love becomes unstable. When you respect someone, you value their feelings, you listen to their perspective. You recognize that their experiences and emotions are just as real as your own. Respect doesn't mean you will always agree. Disagreements are natural in every relationship. But respect ensures that even when you disagree, you treat each other with dignity. You do not insult, you do not belittle. You do not intentionally hurt the person you claim to love. Instead, you search for understanding. One of the strongest signs of commitment is emotional responsibility. That means recognizing that your actions, words, and attitudes influence the person you care about. When you speak with kindness, you create safety. When you listen with patience, you create trust. When you admit your mistakes honestly, you create growth. Relationships are not built through grand gestures alone. They are built through consistent behavior over time, through small acts of care, through reliability, through presence. Being present for someone is one of the most powerful forms of love. Presence means giving someone your attention, your time, and your understanding. In a world that is constantly moving, constantly distracting us with noise and responsibilities, being truly present with another person is a gift. It tells them they matter. It tells them they are not alone. Many people search their entire lives for someone who truly sees them. Someone who listens without judgment. Someone who supports their growth rather than competing with it. Commitment means becoming that person for each other. It means recognizing that love is not about controlling someone or changing them into a perfect version of your expectations. Love is about supporting each other's growth while protecting the connection you share. And growth is essential. A relationship cannot remain healthy if both people stop evolving. Life changes constantly. Circumstances shift. Responsibilities grow. People mature. Commitment means allowing your relationship to evolve alongside those changes rather than resisting them. It means learning new ways to communicate, new ways to support each other, new ways to solve problems together. Because the strongest relationships are not the ones that never face challenges. They are the ones where two people decide that no challenge is more important than the bond they share. When you truly love someone, you do not look for reasons to leave during difficult times. You look for ways to rebuild understanding. That doesn't mean accepting harmful behavior or ignoring serious issues. Healthy love still requires boundaries, honesty, and accountability. But it does mean recognizing that imperfections are part of every human connection. The goal is not perfection. The goal is commitment to growth. Real love asks simple but powerful questions. Are we willing to communicate honestly? Are we willing to forgive when mistakes happen? Are we willing to support each other's dreams? Are we willing to grow together rather than apart? When the answer to those questions is yes, something remarkable happens. Love becomes stronger than temporary problems. It becomes resilient. It becomes steady. It becomes a source of strength rather than uncertainty. And perhaps the most important truth about love and commitment is this: love is not proven by how someone behaves when everything is easy. It is proven by how they behave when life becomes complicated, when stress appears, when disagreements happen, when misunderstandings create distance. In those moments, commitment reveals itself. It appears in the person who chooses patience over anger, in the person who listens rather than attacking, in the person who says, "We will figure this out together." Because commitment transforms love from a temporary emotion into a shared journey. A journey where two people walk beside each other through victories and failures, through happiness and hardship, through change and growth. And when two people truly understand the truth about love, they stop searching for perfect moments. Instead, they focus on building a life where trust, respect, and loyalty grows stronger with time. They recognize that love is not something fragile that disappears the moment difficulty appears. Real love is something you protect, nurture, and choose again and again. And that is the quiet strength of commitment, not loud promises, not dramatic declarations, just two people day after day, choosing to stand beside each other and saying in their actions, not just their words, "You matter to me. This relationship matters to me. And I am not walking away when things become difficult. I am here, I am listening, I am willing to grow." Because love, when it is real, is not about finding someone perfect. It is about building something meaningful with someone who is willing to walk through life with you. One of the most important truths about love is something many people only understand after experiencing pain. Love is not just about happiness, it is also about healing. When two people share their lives with each other, they do not bring only their smiles and their best moments. They also bring their fears, their insecurities, their past disappointments, and the emotional scars that life has left behind. Every person carries a story. Some stories are beautiful and light, others are heavy and complicated. When you truly love someone, you are not only loving who they are today, you are also embracing the experiences that shape them into the person standing in front of you. That means understanding that sometimes people react from places of pain rather than intention. Sometimes a harsh word comes from stress. Sometimes distance comes from fear. Sometimes silence appears because someone does not know how to express what they are feeling inside. Healing in a relationship begins with empathy. Empathy means taking a moment to see the world through the other person's eyes. It means recognizing that their emotions are valid, even when you do not fully understand them at first. In many relationships, conflicts grow not because love has disappeared, but because both people feel unheard. When someone feels unheard for too long, frustration slowly turns into resentment. And resentment is dangerous for any relationship. It creates invisible walls between two people who once felt deeply connected. The solution is not complicated, but it does require courage. The solution is communication that comes from sincerity instead of defensiveness. Real communication is not just about talking. It is about listening with patience and responding with care. When someone you love tells you they are hurt, the instinctive reaction might be to defend yourself. You might want to explain why you acted the way you did. You might want to prove that you did not intend to cause pain. But sometimes the most powerful response is simply acknowledging their feelings. Saying something as simple as, "I understand why you feel that way and I am sorry that my actions hurt you," can begin to rebuild trust that felt broken. Healing requires accountability. Accountability is not about blame. It is about recognizing that our actions have consequences, even when our intentions were good. When two people are willing to take responsibility for their mistakes, the relationship becomes a safe space for growth instead of a battlefield of accusations. Forgiveness also plays a crucial role in healing. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as forgetting or pretending that nothing happened. But true forgiveness is something deeper. It is a decision to release the anger that would otherwise continue poisoning the relationship. Holding on to anger may feel justified in the moment, but over time it creates emotional distance. Forgiveness does not mean accepting repeated harmful behavior. Healthy relationships still require boundaries and change. But when someone genuinely regrets their mistake and shows real effort to improve, forgiveness allows both people to move forward, rather than remaining trapped in past pain. One of the quiet realities of long-term love is that mistakes will happen. No human being is perfect. At some point, words will be spoken during frustration. At some point, misunderstandings will occur. At some point, one person may unintentionally hurt the other. The strength of a relationship is not measured by the absence of mistakes. It is measured by the willingness to repair them. Repairing emotional damage requires patience. Trust once shaken cannot be rebuilt instantly. It takes consistent behavior over time, small acts of honesty, small acts of reliability, small acts of care that slowly reassure the other person that the relationship is still safe and meaningful. Healing also involves understanding your partner's emotional needs. Every person expresses love differently. Some people need words of affirmation. Some need physical closeness. Some need time and shared experiences. Others need quiet support during difficult moments. When you pay attention to how your partner experiences love, you begin to understand how to support them more deeply. Choosing someone every day is another powerful truth about relationships. Many people believe that once two people commit to each other, love should automatically remain strong forever. But love is not automatic. It grows stronger when both people nurture it intentionally. Choosing someone daily means prioritizing the relationship even during busy or stressful times. It means remembering why that person became important to you in the first place. Over time, routines and responsibilities can make people forget the small gestures that once came naturally. Conversations become shorter. Time together becomes less intentional. Slowly, without realizing it, emotional distance can appear. Choosing someone again means bringing attention back to the relationship. It means asking questions about their day. It means noticing when they seem tired or overwhelmed. It means offering encouragement when they doubt themselves. These actions might seem simple, but they carry deep emotional meaning. They remind the other person that they are valued and seen. One of the most beautiful aspects of mature love is the quiet comfort that develops between two people. At the beginning of a relationship, everything feels exciting and new. But with time, love becomes something steadier. It becomes the calm feeling of knowing that someone understands you. It becomes the reassurance that you are not facing life alone. This kind of love does not require constant excitement. Instead, it thrives on consistency, respect, and shared understanding. Choosing someone daily also means choosing patience during difficult phases of life. There will be moments when stress from work, family responsibilities, or personal struggles affects the relationship. During those times, emotional energy may feel limited. Arguments may happen more easily. It is during these moments that commitment becomes especially important. Rather than interpreting temporary tension as the end of love, mature partners recognize that life sometimes demands resilience. They support each other through challenges rather than allowing stress to divide them. Growth is another important part of healing relationships. As individuals evolve, their perspectives and priorities may shift. Healthy couples allow each other the space to grow while still maintaining their connection. Growth does not mean growing apart. It means encouraging each other's development while continuing to strengthen the bond you share. Supporting someone's growth requires generosity of spirit. It means celebrating their achievements without jealousy. It means encouraging their dreams even when those dreams require effort or change. When both partners support each other's growth, the relationship becomes a place of inspiration rather than limitation. Healing also requires honesty. Honest conversations may feel uncomfortable at first, but they prevent deeper problems from forming later. When people hide their true feelings to avoid conflict, unresolved emotions accumulate beneath the surface. Eventually, those emotions emerge in unhealthy ways. Honest communication allows issues to be addressed while they are still manageable. It allows both partners to understand each other more clearly. And understanding is one of the strongest foundations of lasting love. Perhaps one of the most meaningful aspects of choosing someone every day is loyalty during uncertain times. Loyalty does not mean blind attachment. It means remaining emotionally present and supportive when life becomes difficult. It means showing the other person that your commitment is not conditional on constant happiness. When two people face hardships together, their bond often becomes stronger. They learn that love is not only about sharing joy but also about sharing responsibility and resilience. Over time, these shared experiences create a deep sense of partnership. You begin to see the relationship not just as romance but as a team that faces life's challenges side by side. A team that protects each other's well-being. A team that celebrates victories together and supports each other during losses. Choosing someone daily is not about grand gestures or dramatic declarations. It is about consistency. It is about waking up each day and remembering that the person beside you is someone you care about deeply. It is about treating them with kindness even during disagreements. It is about protecting the emotional connection that you have built together. Because love is not something that survives automatically. It survives because two people continuously choose it. They choose patience instead of anger. They choose understanding instead of assumptions. They choose forgiveness instead of resentment. They choose loyalty instead of indifference. And when two people continue making those choices, something remarkable happens. Their relationship becomes stronger than temporary conflicts. stronger than misunderstandings, stronger than the difficulties that life inevitably brings. That is the quiet power of healing, forgiveness, and daily commitment. It transforms love from a fragile emotion into something enduring, something resilient, something that continues growing even after facing challenges. And perhaps that is one of the most beautiful truths about relationships. Love does not need perfection to survive. It only needs two people who are willing to keep choosing each other, again and again, with honesty, patience, and an open heart.